Hear me out here. I'm going to throw out 2 words. Tell me what comes to mind.
Okay.
Space junk.
Satellites.
Russia.
I think it has more to do, kind of. No,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? It kind of doesn't. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
Currently, space junk is on a 1,500 mile an hour collision course with the moon.
Well, what is the space junk?
The moon is about to get hit by a bunch of junk.
Can you explain
Wait
the
a minute,
moon
what's a
like
moon?
I'm 5?
So it's a leftover rocket.
Oh, is that the Tesla? Not Tesla. What's the other thing? The space version is Tesla.
Well, so it's saying that
NASA?
experts believe
No.
that it's China, but Chinese officials are dubious. It's theirs.
Dubious.
Dubious.
What's the SpaceX? I thought SpaceX also had a thing they lost control of.
So it says-
and that was heading for the moon as well.
It says SpaceX originally took the rap for the upcoming lunar litter after asteroid tracker Bill Gray identified the collision course in January.
Yes.
But he corrected himself a month later.
Oh.
Yep, it was not. It was not a SpaceX Falcon rocket.
This is a simple error. Easily to overlook.
I know, freaking Bill Gray. What do you know?
Yeah.
Took him a month though. He's like, oh,
They
you know
just-
what? That junk doesn't look like SpaceX.
So what does this mean for the moon?
For the moon, I mean,
How does this affect the thing I care about most?
58 mile an hour hitting the moon, right? It's gonna make a big old
Yeah.
crater.
A 58,
58.
5800?
The moon already has countless craters ranging up to 1,600 miles.
Mouse.
The moon is defenseless. We have a little defenseless moon.
The moon, the poor moon. What will it do?
And with no weather, there's no erosion, so the impact that craters do, it lasts forever. So
Yeah.
it just sounds like the moon's about to get a new hole.
So, like, the last time we've actually been on the moon and, like, done anything there has been a while. So it's,
Yeah.
like, been virtually untouched for a long time to us.
It's true.
And so now it's like we try to preserve it, and now we're just throwing junk there.
It is kind of messed up. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think if
Yeah.
you think to, like, the base of the whole problem, it's like all the things that we're putting up in the sky, like, we don't see the effect. But I
Right.
mean, like, you can't tell me that once, like, 1,000 satellites hit the moon that we're not going to see the effects of that. Tsunamis!
It's like the last straw of the camel's back. That's the last satellite on the moon.
Yeah.
And then bad things will happen.
Well, I mean, with our national parks that we have, like, extremely protected, we get mad if people push over rocks. I mean, not to discredit that they shouldn't have done it, but, like, we're protective about rocks on top of rocks, and this is the moon,
That's
the
the
biggest,
biggest
rock of them
rock.
all. Yeah.
Space rock.
It's like, somebody please.
Yeah. What is somebody going to do about the big rock?
Oh, well.
The big rock in the sky.
The big rock.
Sorry, moon.
If only they had better defenses.
It's defenseless. It's just literally defenseless.
They need a lunar defense squad.
Oh, yeah, like Space Force.
Is that a segue?
They just have lasers and just.
Is it still a thing?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
it's a new military branch.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's for real still, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
For real?
Bro science.
I don't know.
It's probably real.
I figured as soon as,
Yeah.
as Trump was out of office that
Just
Space
canned
Force
it.
just
They're
they're like, look, we don't really need this by
I think it's important. We should have something up in space.
some lunar defense.
Some lunar defense. Well,
Lunar defense squad.
yeah, why not? We're defending a fake
Yeah.
world in the metaverse. Why can't we defend the moons and Marses of the, I would say the world, but that doesn't really apply, of the universe.
The universe.
All of them. Roll the intro.
Okay. While you're rolling that intro, tilt David's cam down just a tad. He's very. You'll have to. Yeah, right. That one up. Yep. Twist that left. Yeah. All right. Now tilt just a little bit. There you go. Switch to David's cam. Oh, it's a little too much. You gotta go back up. Just a little too much. Back up. Right there. Oh yeah, that's
Like it was before.
it's actually really close. To
Looks
where
the
it was.
same.
Split the difference.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Oh yeah. You know why we're testing out these little cameras? because this is a podcast, and we also do video if you want to watch it on the YouTubes.
That's the laziest intro you've ever done.
The laziest intro.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it
yes.
is.
Wow.
Welcome to the podcast, and we make videos.
No. The
I'm so
podcast
happy
is
for
a
you.
video. The podcast is the video. That's what I'm saying. If they want to watch it on YouTube.
Well,
Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of the TRIFLIX cast. You're here, we're here. It's late, I'm hungry, but you know what? We're gonna have a good time. Maybe you're enjoying a fresh meal while you're listening to this. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a company. We're a company. We do photo, video, website, graphics. Not really anymore of the graphics, but we do the rest. Dude, we actually cut the graphics department.
we had to downsize.
COVID hit us hard, man. We had to.
What a shame.
Got to get rid of the graphics
We were
department.
really known for the graphics.
TRIFLIX graphics, man. We were killing it.
That's rough.
Just couldn't keep up, man.
Sad to see him go.
So
Yeah.
we're based out of Columbus, Indiana, man. The best town of the world. Got the best podcast with the best media company, baby.
The best office.
And the best office.
The best microphones.
The best microphones. Thanks, sure. Look at that little sure.
Sure we do.
We should get some electrical tape and put it over there, and if they sponsor us, we'll just pull
Rip
it
it
off.
off.
Yeah.
Thanks for sponsor.
So for for $400 an episode, we'll take all the sh off, and then for $600, we'll take the all the way down to the e.
We'll do the rest.
Yeah. Yep.
I like it.
I don't know what's on the docket.
Who
but
are you?
This week's been crazy.
Oh yeah.
Who are you?
That's important. I'm really tired. I'm so tired.
Wow.
What about you? Who are you, man? That's a
I'm
host.
David Baker, the efficiency manager.
Baker.
That's who I do things.
You look tired too.
And we're all tired. Who's this other tired guy?
I'm Cole Ankney. I'm the producer. Welcome.
Wow. Why did you take that off?
I don't know what it does. I'm just kidding. It's a pop filter.
Twisted Totkins.
It's a little.
Wow.
Twisted twat. Don't bleep me. It was my nickname in middle school.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, well,
I'm
there's
sorry
worse things
for
to be
you.
called.
This is true. So why did you put why we gave half of our companies? Why we gave away half of our companies?
Yeah, so
Elaborate, my friend.
people-
I think this is great.
I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Why I decided to give away half of my company?
You okay? You doing okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, you feel okay about the
What do you
current
mean you
arrangement?
gave away half of your company?
I gave away half of the company, man.
So you're looking at it the wrong way.
Is this the logos?
You
The
gained
graphics?
another 50% of another company. Technically, you own 150% of it.
Yeah, you doubled your company.
Okay, so here's the thing. We have been busier than ever, hence why we're all exhausted right now.
Yeah.
Also,
Except for
on top
David.
of that, we just had to put together the whole podcast studio again because we ripped it apart for shoots this week.
Yeah.
We've
to
had
make money.
to make money,
money, please.
and we're killing it. We're
Isn't there a cash register on there, like a cha-ching? There's no
search
cha-ching.
to search for
It
it.
would have
It's
been
too late.
perfect.
It's
You
too late.
ruined it.
I ruined it. I have to watch the meters.
dude, your grandma's
lean
gonna
back.
love this one.
Cha-ching.
She's gonna like this one with your friends.
Next intro.
It's not
Welcome
on
to
here.
TRIFLIX Cast, Grandma's favorite podcast.
That was on the other one.
Oh, okay.
Oh gosh, yeah.
David's grandma, just to clarify.
I've owned the brand name TRIFLIX. So whenever I said I gave away half of it, that was really what I was referring to. And
I own
and
half of an L and licks.
Licks.
That's it. That's it, folks.
Yeah, so Cole's company was Ruxflow, my company was TRIFLIX, and we partnered, and the whole idea of building something from the ground up, and then just, hey, you want to work together is one of the weirdest, scariest things because I don't know the rates of divorce, and I don't know the rates of a business partnership succeeding, but
They got to be close.
there's a reason people are kind of nervous about both of those things. It's a lot to go into. It's a lot of communication to keep things running, and this last couple of weeks have been very nice. I gave away percentage because of there's a lot for the company that I couldn't provide, and.
Well, you keep saying give away. I feel like you didn't give it away.
No,
I know.
not
I
at
know.
all.
I don't like
It's a
that.
because you
No.
got literally half
He gave
of
away
his,
half of his company. I gave
Yeah.
away half of my company,
You
and we
united
put
your
them together.
companies.
Technically.
Yes.
It's equity. It's 50%.
So
it's 50-50.
You gained a whole other company, but you lost 50% of the control.
No. You gained friendship.
You gained. Maybe the real treasure all along was friendship.
You were able to give away 50% of equity, but you gained someone you get to talk to 3 to 4 times a day. Yeah. Sometimes more than your own wife.
No doubt. Yeah, but I mean, what does that like actually mean? I mean, it's not a negative. It has a negative connotation, but I don't think it's a bad thing.
So why did you choose to do it?
Why did I think you say why did I choose Cole?
Why him?
He was the third one down.
I chose you.
Yeah.
You chose
each other.
Yeah.
You chose each other.
Yeah, so I had to talk him into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said, you want to do this? He said, show me your numbers. I said, I don't know about that. You might want to say yes first, and then we'll look at the numbers.
We'll look at the numbers later. We're still waiting to look at those numbers.
I'm waiting for some numbers too.
Yeah.
No numbers for you.
No numbers for me.
These last few weeks, I mean, we've been working together for years now. It's right, years.
Yes.
Working together for years.
We've been weeks, years. We lost track of time. What's time? What is the
I
concept
never
of
know
time?
what day it is anymore.
Is it? It started working like almost right at the start of COVID.
Yeah, it was at the start of COVID, which, as you know,
it's 2020.
The last like 2 years for everyone is kind of blown by. It seems when I talk to people, they're generally like, wow, it's not 2020 today.
Yeah,
but that's all to say. Sharing the company, how about that? Sharing, partnering, right?
Yeah,
it's been like one of the best decisions as a business owner that I think I've made. Yeah, go ahead, tear up,
buddy.
Tear up a little bit. I always grew up with like the bootstrap mentality. If you can't do it on your own, then you're too weak. Like you put in more time. If you put enough time, you'll fix all your problems.
I've never looked at you in the same way after you partnered with this chump.
Yeah, well, I haven't either.
I lost some self-respect that day.
So
they're both half of the men they should be now.
I gave away half the company and half the man.
I was gonna say soul. I gave up 50% of my soul.
But I mean, there's truth to that. Like being the decision maker, giving up half of that is like that's the partnership. It's like I don't get to just make every decision. You don't get to make every decision, but it's still been for the better because as partnership, it's there's so much more resources.
Yeah, it was about delegating.
Yeah, time is a resource. Believe it or not, it's not just equipment and money. It's like the ability it's like the assembly line. One person just does one job and they get really good and they get really efficient at it. And the next person go down the line, instead of building a Ferrari by yourself, which is a thing. Like back when Ferrari was first getting developed, one guy would build one car and it was worth a lot of money. And then Ford came along with manufacturing process and sped it up. And then Fords were significantly cheaper. And it's like,
yeah, we joined up and the company's not worth anything anymore.
Well, after a certain point, the company could get big enough where it's like a mega corporation, and then that's where it loses the soul, in my opinion.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it's just completely one person does this one thing, and then they kind of fall through the weeds of it. But I think right now, being the startup size, it's like we have titles. The job description is very flexible for each of those titles, but we try really hard to stay in the right lane. And with that, we've gotten more efficient at what each of us does in the company.
We're getting there. I mean, especially as owners. I mean, it's just one of those things like, especially when the business is the size that it is currently, there's no way of getting around, waking up on a day-to-day basis and being like, oh, I've never done that, but let's do it.
Yeah.
It's just...
You got some examples? It's pretty...
Yeah, no, for sure. So recently, and I'll just be candid with everybody who's listening or watching, we recently ran into kind of a growth issue where now we're trying to work with larger corporations, and when you go to bid for a job, you got to make a proposal. Okay. No, this is a great story.
No, I thought you were going to do something else. Keep going with that.
Okay. Well, remind me if you got a better example.
It's the invoice numbers, but keep going. Keep going.
I don't know if I want to talk about that one. Oh, okay. So anyways, it was really funny because we've started just trying to navigate that, and it's one of those things where some days now I have like more time into just filling out paperwork and making documents. And we ran into this issue where this company comes along and they're like, we can't wait to see your proposal. And I sent them an email and we sent them a little slide deck that like showed kind of what we were concepts for the video. So, I mean, we did part of a proposal, essentially one section of what
we did was a part of pre-production, and
you
get paid for that
usually
after they approve your proposal. So it's like, hey, we're really ambitious is one way they may have interpreted it.
True.
However, what do you think?
I don't know. The reply would make me think otherwise, because I sent this over and I said, we'd love to work with you. We can definitely work within your budget. I think our max would be here, so we'll be under budget for you. We'd love to work with you. And I get an email back. All it said was, great, can't wait to see your proposal. And I promptly called Tristan and I said, what is a proposal?
Oh, yeah.
And what do we need to do?
Yeah, and so proposals, for people that don't know, it's like a cost breakdown, and I've seen them used before. It's just not something we've ever had a client request. And normally, when clients ask for things, they use generic terms, not knowing exactly what they want. So usually 90% of the time when a client wants a proposal, they're just asking for like a storyboard idea of what a high level macro view of the project and what it's going to look like. And we anticipate that's what they wanted. And when we sent it, they were not pleased, or at least they expected something else.
Did I send you? I think I sent you just like the screenshot.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, you just very quickly replied with like a laughing face. And I was like, yeah, that's how I feel about it too.
Oh yeah. We haven't heard back from them yet, but we're still counting. They might. They never know.
I'm not. I was getting ready to say I don't think we won that client. So, but we were in a larger pool, which we're also
like,
new with.
Yeah, because like with personal, more like face-to-face clients that aren't like big businesses, they aren't super worried about like the nitty-gritty cost breakdown, because they're probably not comparing against a whole bunch of different proposals. And that's the purpose of the proposals, to make it very easy to compare company A, company B, all that stuff. And like smaller clients, not to discredit them or anything, they're just not super in depth like that. It's much more personal and like catered in a way. It was like, we will make this work and this is how this is going to happen type of thing.
And that's my tough thing to wrap my head around, because obviously one of the reasons why Tristan and I partnered was because he's worked with larger corporations like this. He's seen these things, dealt with the paperwork. And for me, I'm like, I love the face-to-face, the contact, the phone call, and be like, I know where you work, you know where I work, and like we can have a conversation, we can get lunch, whatever. And it's like this, very personable thing. I mean, that's one of the things I pride TRIFLIX on, is that we can provide that personable service. And I want to carry that through even to the larger companies, because I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, and there's two things. One, I remember, the second one might come to me.
Okay.
So the thing was, this wasn't actually the client. This was a marketing company as a middleman.
True.
So
good clarification.
As David was pointing out, it's a very easy apples to apples comparison whenever you're looking at a bunch of bids on a project, if you just show what your cost breakdown is. So it makes sense on why they wanted that information. It also makes sense for why the companies we usually work with don't ask for it, because if you're experienced with it and you're trying to make these comparisons daily for many clients, like they're representing companies that want videos and they're taking in a ton of different bids, that's how they have to operate. It's efficient that way. And the second thing, now that it came back to me, is there's we talk about it a lot, is like learning lessons from all the shoots that we do. It's like, I don't think I've ever been on a shoot where everything goes perfect, and that's not just the ones that I manage. That's shoots that we get subcontracted for on the production end, not our end, but like the project manager stuff. So it's like, in our business, there's always things that could go wrong, and you can always learn from them. And this was a situation like the pre-production side where we got to experience that, because usually we get it's like obvious, the people that brought lighting or the gaff tape, whatever they brought, wasn't like a certain quality, and it's like, all right, or they had a great one, and it's like, okay, we can buy that and add it to our repertoire or whatever list of things that we can purchase. This was the first time on the pre-production side where we had a company like point out something that we could improve on, and now it's a part of our process for any company where we're not at that direct communication point yet. Like you're saying, you want to have that in contact with the business owner or the marketing director or whatever. So now moving forward, if we haven't got to that step and these clients are, in that bid phase, we can rip these proposals out and, some sort of templated method now.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of my issue as well, is I can't just like pump something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm just so detail oriented that I worked on the proposal for like 2 days, which probably didn't help because I just wanted it to be good.
Yeah.
And we had to go through the
getting better.
terms. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to make our own custom template. I already told Tristan. I was like, I'm going to make a custom template and we're going to do it all the right way and make it very proprietary to us because now I know what one contains. So
Yeah.
Well, it's like a job.
Makes it look good.
It's like a resume. When you're applying for
Yeah.
a job, there's people that just spam. They'll like email it out to everybody, and then as an employer, and I've worked with other managers as well that were the ones that taught me this lesson, is like if somebody takes the time to cater their resume for the job that they're applying for, they stand out.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
yeah.
Less boilerplate and more like
Yeah.
there was thought put into it. And I think having a template is good and just knowing how to modify it. Because in the end, like all they want is the information. Because whoever's going to get it is going to take it, evaluate it between all of them, and then present it to someone else. And so they're kind of doing that face-to-face job for you, but in a very legalistic way.
Yes.
And so that's all they care about. They just want to be able to prove they did the research. This is what they want to go with and why. And
Yep.
so it is very much like the opposite of a face-to-face thing.
Yes.
And
feels
I
very
understand that
disconnected.
struggle.
But I get it, I mean,
Yeah.
to break into that world, we got to, I mean, I will say not every single large company needs that, and we've seen that,
Right.
but we also depends on the circumstances as well.
Yeah.
I think knowing which companies, because like there's some companies that should warrant that face-to-face.
Yes.
And that just understanding like which ones to turn on the more businessy side of operations.
Yeah.
And we could probably still do proposals internally and then maybe keep them for ourselves and not have to directly present it to the client or whatever.
Which
Have
is
it on
actually
hand.
what we've been doing. So a large part of the proposals is like cost breakdown,
yes.
and that helps us more accurately estimate every job moving forward because we categorize based on like live stream versus podcasts, commercial interview, real estate stuff. So we have all these metrics of how much time it takes us to do this and what the cost evaluation is.
Which we were basically already doing.
We
It just
were.
wasn't in like an official documented format, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It was kind of
wasn't-
like I would reach out to Tristan. So I would like make the initial contact, right? And just try to get somebody into that space of like, hey, okay, now you're thinking of using us. You've given me the job information. I know we're kind of in the running. And so now I'm going to quote you a price.
Yeah.
And Tristan, I would normally say, hey, okay, this is what we're going to do. He'd look at we've got Trello up, pull the card up. It's got all the information. Hey, what's the pricing on this?
Yeah. And that was a part of what we're trying to analyze now is like, do we want, we had a really strong habit of like trying to automate as much of the business as we could because everybody was so busy and part of that was pricing. So getting more to a quote base for these larger jobs that aren't like small business owners or local churches, like these larger companies that we're starting to get into. And part of that cost breakdown is, you have pre-production, which, it's like, oh, you set up equipment. It's like, no, the pre-production is like coming up with creative ideas takes time, coming up with storyboards, writing scripts, working with your creative director to like focus a vision or create something that like represents your brand. It's not just we show up with a camera and it's like, oh, well, they're pre-producing it because they're setting up equipment. It's like, no, that's actually a little bit of a setup for production and
contacting venues.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of it. That's one of the
All
things
the
that
managing.
I've admired some of the things that Tristan's done where he will actually, like we had a shoot at a country club recently and Tristan called the country club and he talked to the event coordinators and was like working with them to go, okay, what does your audio setup look like? Like, can we piggyback off of that? Do we need to bring our own? So we're doing a lot of that legwork and keeping that, the client doesn't have to worry about it. It's like we can show up and know what we're doing and they have no idea that like this dude showed up the day before to evaluate the system.
right. And it's like all that. I mean,
That's time, costs money.
yeah. And then like for production, it's like you got a build up, you got tear down, but then we're a media company. So people expect it to be like a la carte. You get a la carte. They expect it to be all inclusive. Like I paid X amount of dollars, I get a video. It's like sort of, but if we're competing with other professionals and you want us to take us seriously, it's like a real set. You have a DP that shows up with a camera and he records things and that's it. Like that's his job. He gets paid $600 a day just to hit record.
Right.
And it's like you're going to have somebody that's there just for changing out lenses and pulling focus. You're going to have somebody that's just there to move lights. And it's like when we get hired, we do all of that. So we've always done it that way because we're smaller. We haven't worked on these proposals, but breaking down proposals and learning about it's like, okay, well, there's all these other costs that if you went with a competitor that you would have to use like a project manager to source each of those individual roles. But when you choose us, we can give you a discount because there's a couple of us wearing different hats. I think everybody here for the most part knows framing, lighting, sound for the most part. Like everybody's qualified to do all those jobs now, and we don't have to do the whole worker union where everybody makes X amount minimum per day. It's like, here's our price for production, pre-production, and then obviously post-productions like editing, sound design, and all the visuals.
It's all the growing pains of a business.
Yes.
That's what we're finding out is the biggest things I think we're trying to tackle right now is like, how do we make our operations something that everybody can at least look at or know how to do or figure out how to do on their own.
Yeah, for sure.
I just had an example and I lost it. But I don't know. But what we were just talking about with the proposals, we're standardizing how that is done.
Yeah.
So in the future, we know how to do it. Right. And even with things like bringing in like our equipment in from shoots, we're working. We're still not at a point where we have like dedicated places for everything, but we're moving towards that and trying to figure out.
Well,
we are really close.
It's funny because we bought all new equipment for all our older stuff moved into the podcast room and like it was supposed to stay stationary, and then we bought new equipment for going out on shoots. But then again, we're getting busier, more people want to work with us, and that's awesome. However, if we're double booking at the same time slots, or maybe it's not even double booking, it's just one shoot is either overnight or the drive distance is too much to bring the equipment from one location to the next and set up. It's like, all right, rip apart the podcast. We need all that equipment for a shoot that's 2 hours away from where this other shoot's at, even though it could be done on time. It's like we can't put a client in a position where it's like, hey, we're running 15 minutes behind and they're sitting there waiting.
Yeah. And that's
true though.
Looks bad.
It looks bad, but I don't think, I mean, we're still getting there and we're improving like every day. Like that's, like literally just ordering more stuff, finding ways to like
spending money. My favorite.
That was the thing I was going to mention. Now that you've given away part of your company, I now have 2 people to tell me no.
Well, you have 2 people to get approval from, man.
Yeah, because usually a lot of like what I'm looking at is like, how do I figure out how to do this? And it usually involves buying something because we don't have the material or the way to do it now, and we have to obtain something to do it.
Cole was saying like most of our company chat is just David posting lists of things to buy now.
The past 2 weeks I've been posting links.
True.
I've been asked to do it. But like I've been researching all these things that we need to get. It's like whether it's more cables or more like I don't even remember. There's like at least like 10 things.
It's almost always cables.
Yeah. Like storage.
Those silly little things that are integral to the process, but it hurts.
Oh yeah.
You're like, that's a $10 cable. Well, when you have to get 10 of them, you're like,
$100.
Awesome. That went really fast.
Yes.
And thankfully we're in the position to be able to do things like this, but it doesn't take away the pain of being like, yes, you may order all of those things. Because we're also getting to the point now where there's a lot of possibility where we'll order things and we'll use stuff, and there's probably a lot of it like my hands won't even touch.
Yep.
That's a hard thought.
Yeah, it's
you know
not
what I mean?
For you, but it's for how everything else works.
Yeah. It's like watching that payroll go out. But then I remember the fact that it gives me that time to write the proposal when I didn't have to like clip and cut and make social media posts, and I could just pull them from the server and put them up, and I'm like, okay, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Paying people to do the things you don't want to do.
Which I will not lie, I enjoy greatly. That was part of the whole thing. I had turned the corner at some point, and I was like, I don't need to do everything, nor do I want to. And so I'm like, that's the funny thing about Tristan and I, when we partnered, it was supposed to be like, oh, we'll delegate and like you do this and I do this. All we did was build the business to another point where we needed more people to then push that responsibility further down the line because we were just doing so much. Yeah. And so we're finally starting to feel, I think, the workload move a little bit, but we're still pretty far from it being to that point where it
Right.
feels real good.
We're
Don't-
still making progress every
Don't
day.
worry, man. Don't worry, Bugle Boy. We'll get some
Bugle
BTS
Boy.
out again. They're in the pipeline
Yeah.
someday.
So, sorry, we're just too busy being successful.
Dude, that's the biggest worry, man. Is like I'm not really worried about like failing because everybody's so dedicated to the company, like growing. I mean, it could happen, but that's less of a fear. The bigger fear is like we get too big, where it's like the company starts to lose its soul, and we've talked about it before. It's,
Yeah.
We can't do
it's
that.
mute.
That's one of those core principles, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we formed it, that was one of the largest things we talked about.
It's the vibe.
Yeah, so I think we need to continually, I mean, that's why we do quarterlies
Yep.
meetings. And I mean, it's to check the vibe.
Vibe check.
Yeah. Thank you. I set that up. And you,
Yeah, dude. Hole in home run.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's a big deal for us. So I think, as long as we pay attention to it, I mean, we've seen a lot of companies that can get big and still retain that small feeling. And I think that's the idea, especially I think with two of us. I mean, it's one of those things where I think, when you've reached that point when the culture tends to be stale, but I think it's that disconnect between the people who started the company and the company itself.
Yeah.
You start to put, those people are in their second floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the editors.
They're away from everybody else. Like you've made it to this point where it's like they're in their box and like you don't even know all the employees' names. I don't want to get to that point where I don't know everybody's name. I want to be able to walk in and I know who you are, I know what you do, and we can have a conversation and we can go grab lunch and it's like, hey, I just had lunch with the owner and like we have a mutual relationship where we can talk about the company.
Yeah, think about like all the companies that are so big where it's like whenever someone comes in for an interview, the owner never meets them in that process.
Yeah. And maybe never. You know what I mean?
Just never meets them.
Yeah. I hate the thought of that because I enjoy so much that interaction.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
So before we move on to the next topic, I don't know if you ever really said like, sum it up in a sentence or a paragraph, like, why did you do it?
Yeah, I the best decision I made as a business owner was giving away half the company to partners so that the company can grow at a faster rate. Like I always thought it was all about like pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but honestly, teamwork makes the process so much more efficient. I'm not going to say dream work. No, no. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
It really does. Like it's one of those like you think it's a linear graph or something like that. The more people, the more productive the company is. But I feel like it's honestly closer to exponential. It's somewhere in the middle, but it definitely grows faster that way.
Yeah, Cole definitely. He's better at things that you and I are like half as good at, I think.
Yeah,
like
it's definitely true.
We all have different, we specialize in different things. And I think that really helps out a lot, especially just, I don't know. I mean, Cole is really good at photography. I don't think Tristan was like super like.
I still don't know how to shoot a photo.
Excelled in that or anything like that.
He's doing just fine.
Yeah. But they're very two different. They're similar in ways, but they're like different in others. And the videography is much more his strong suit, and it's like the opposite with Cole. Cole's really good at photography, not super strong in videography. Even though
He still shot the best wedding we've ever made.
Really?
It's true though. And oh my gosh, dude, you have no idea how nervous I was.
Oh yeah.
No, seriously. You're like, here. I mean, we had been partnered for barely a year. And here, take this video camera with the Ninja, which I don't know. I mean, I knew nothing about. I knew where the record button was, and that was it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the
one we did. The Galarno wedding.
I forgot about that.
Galarno. Man. Dude, they are so nice.
Are you smiling?
Get so much from them.
I am now.
It was our best wedding video. It was our most viewed video on socials until recently. But for like 2 years, it was the best.
You got another hit, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
We're almost at 13K.
13K on what?
on your on your vertical video, your reel.
On my wardrobe malfunction video.
Yes.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. As a kid, I always thought wardrobe malfunction meant somebody like lost a piece of clothing or something, but it's just like any slip up on air that goes out live.
I've only heard it referred to that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I know, right? Like, Super Bowl, Janet Jackson, that's a wardrobe malfunction.
That's a
Yeah.
slip.
A Freudian slip. Yeah, that's a really big one.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure there was a Freud in the crowd that day.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Jeez.
You know what? I'm just gonna say thank you. That was a great. It was just nice to hear you say.
I'm tired
Not that
enough
I
to
think
be
that.
nice. That's
Yeah,
there
no, I
was just
like it.
something about that.
You
That
guys were
shoe was
both.
magical.
There were so
Yeah.
many like compliments in there.
Dude, your grandma's
I
gonna
feel
love
so
that.
good. I feel so
I
good
know.
right now.
We have to dial it back. We need to punch him down.
I'm not really feeling this whole part. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys suck.
Going back to the company culture, I feel like we're going the wrong direction right now. We
Yeah.
need to go back.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought we could do something fun.
Okay,
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's switch
man.
it up.
All right.
Okay. I figured. I'm moving on.
Let's go.
So
cares.
they confirmed within the last couple of days that Apple is going to have their next hardware event on March 8th.
Ooh.
And I know some of the things that they're talking about announcing, but I figured maybe what we could do today is we could talk about the things that they're announcing, but in only wrong answers.
Okay.
So I figured we could
Okay.
go around and maybe think of some things that maybe Apple should come out with.
All right.
I
So
really wish we could bleep. Keep going.
I need to load up the button so I can bleep.
Oh, dude, if you could.
Oh, that would be
That'd
nice.
be really
But
funny.
the problem is you'd have to like
I would-
announce it, be like, "Hey,
I
get
think-
ready, 3,
I
2, 1."
think- Oh,
Yeah.
beep. But then he
Yeah.
like purposely does it off time on the wrong word, so it's like the bad word goes through. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could technically do it, and he can add the bleep in post.
that's true. But
Okay.
we've go ahead, David.
Yeah,
What's
sorry.
the wrong thing Apple's going to
So
release?
take
Yeah.
like one step back. Apple has events that they do throughout the year, and
Yeah.
they're usually on different things. Sometimes it's like
Correct.
for iPhones. Sometimes it's only for like developers, like which is only like software and like only developers really understand it.
Yes.
And sometimes they do laptop events. Is this a laptop computer you want?
It's a hardware event.
Hardware event?
Yes.
So it's not iPhone.
It's not iPhone because that's always
Okay.
in the fall, right?
Right.
So this is their
Right.
spring hardware event.
All right.
I'll just while people are listening, they're slated to bring out some new MacBooks. They might talk about the VR goggles they've been working on. There's something else in there, but I forget what it is.
Okay. So in only
MacBooks are the big
wrong
ones.
answers. I think they're going to make the Mac Mini bigger.
It's the Mac Medium.
the Mac bigger.
The Mac Grande.
They're like an Ariana edition.
They put a fan back in it just for the fan whine. Just-
Yeah. They make them louder, bigger. Thermal throttling again. That is a great feature.
Yeah.
They make the Apple table.
The table. Hey, they're going to bring that back.
It only has one leg.
It's monopod.
And
It's
it's
not
on
even
one
made out
side.
of apple wood.
It's on one side. It levels itself. It only has one leg and it's on the right hand side, but the table levels itself.
It's self-leveling because it just falls over and is flat onto the ground. And it's revolutionary because it uses gravity to do it.
We
Never
got.
done before.
We got. We think.
Dude, I think they're going to release Apple apples. Like, it's going to be Apple branded apples that they grew in an orchard, and it's going to be some big green PR stunt where they're like, "Oh, we love the environment. We started
$1,200 a piece."
Yeah, that's why like all these big companies are buying all this land. It's just for apple orchards.
And on the apple, there's
They're
going to be
white.
an Apple icon imprinted on it.
Yeah.
Just so you remember it's an apple.
It tastes it tastes better if you're in the ecosystem. If you're on Samsung, it like makes it sour.
It rots faster.
It rots faster.
Wait. So does each apple have a bite out of it?
Oh, yeah. Personally
that's-
taken by Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Yes, Tim Apple.
Yeah, that's
Apple.
their next thing. That's my
What about you, Cole?
PG
I
answer.
think they should make the toothbrush.
Apple toothbrush.
The Apple toothbrush. The bristles are aluminum.
Recycled
It's
aluminum.
everything is
We've
just
made the newest
brushed aluminum.
aluminium bristles. Clean your teeth and make you bleed.
Oh, dude, that's how you know you did it right.
Yeah, we
It has
just
our
can't get
latest
dirty if
haptic
they're
engine in it.
destroyed.
Dude, no.
Bluetooth.
So what it is, it's like it's got a haptic feedback, whatever, like little touchpad on the handle, and then you just rub your thumb back and forth on it, and then like the bristles at the end will go back
They
and forth.
move? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Because like obviously moving your whole arm is too much for an Apple user.
yeah.
It's true,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's just like a little haptic feedback. You like, boop, 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 boop.
But it doesn't come with wireless charging. You have
No.
to. You have to like.
Yeah.
Lightning.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
The connector is
That would
like at
piss
the
me off
very
so much.
top. So like you can't
It's in
brush
the
your
bristles.
teeth with. Yeah, it's between the bristles, so you can't brush with it.
You can only
while
charge
it's
it.
charging.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what they would do.
Fun fact, boys and girls, Apple still sells these mice that the charging port is on the bottom of it. So whenever your mouse dies, you have to turn your mouse upside down.
To be fair, they charge super fast.
They do.
Like you plug it
Still.
in,
And they last for like 30
like
days.
you plug it in for like half a minute, and it's good for like an hour.
Is it C or lightning?
It's
It's not lightning.
It's lightning.
The ecosystem, man. If they sell the USB-C items, think of all the lightning cables they wouldn't sell.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, how horrible would that be?
Yeah. They were on board for USB-C, but it didn't get finalized fast enough, so they made their own charger.
But then they also were like, "Hey, we're gonna." They're like, MacBook Pro. Guess what? We're gonna take all your ports away and give you freaking USB-C ports, and then you have to use a dongle for everything.
That was
Thanks, bro.
They just wanted to sell dongles. They thought they could pull it off. And
Because
then they got
courage.
so mad.
Because courage.
They were so full of
We have
courage.
courage. That's why we got rid of your headphone jack.
That's why we sell apples.
Takes courage to sell half-eaten apples.
Dude, I feel like what they do is they have like an assembly line. The apple goes through, and they have like a metal press fit, and then they like take out the remaining part of the apple, and then they do something super Apple with it. Like they're gonna use that piece to build their next phone or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we composted it and we used it to
Next
turn
laptop.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Made out
like
of
what they
100%
do.
recycled apples.
It's like
real
what they do with
sticky.
baby carrots, where they like put it on a lathe and they put it into the perfect shape of an apple.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because baby carrots are all the carrots people don't want to buy, and they just like shave them down to be those.
The little
Those
stem.
shapes.
The
Little
pretty
stem. Yeah.
carrot.
Oh, look at the carrot fingers.
They're the reject carrots
Yeah.
that nobody wants to buy.
So glad you guys are here for this episode of the Carrot Cast.
Apple carrot.
Apple Carrot Cast.
That's the apple carrot pear.
Dude, somebody is that like a thing? Like the iCarly had the pear brand as a knockoff of Apple.
Pear phone.
Is there like a carrot brand? Like I want a carrot phone.
I don't know. That'll be our in-universe Apple
Yeah,
knockoff.
we could
then.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's was it
Carrot phone.
Nigel Red? Do you know Nigel Red? Is it Nigel?
Oh, the chemistry dude on
Yeah,
YouTube?
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, so he has a YouTube channel. It's like Nile Red.
Yeah.
He's really funny.
cool. He has his own lab and everything, does
Yeah.
all of his experiments. He's very professional.
Yeah,
It's pretty
his
cool.
videos are like an hour long. They're super detailed on chemistry. Really exciting stuff. Go check it out.
Yeah, if you like chemistry and don't want to do it, watch
So
it.
there's a point I bring it up. He's got these like secondary channels, and it's like Nigel Blue and Nigel.
It's Nile Blue, Nile Red.
Nile Blue, Nile Red. And then they're talking about on their podcast, joking around about like coming up with somebody should make Nile Green. Mm-hmm. And then somebody on the internet makes Nile Green because they find out that they're like just making these awful videos about like how to make bombs and stuff. And then it's like referencing back to the other person. And then people are like, we can't tell, is this the real Nile?
Yeah.
And like he just made a secondary channel, or at this point it's like his fourth channel, and like this whole idea of kind of it's not slander, but like you're impersonating someone else. And the thing was, it wasn't just the fact that like the video was shot similar and it doesn't include the head or anything.
Yeah.
The voice was the same. And it was the same because the guy that made these videos used an AI software that scanned all of Nile's videos for audio and then used that to type up a script. And the cadence is so similar that a lot of people thought it was the same.
He has a very, I don't know how to put it. It's very repetitive cadence.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a
Robotic.
radio announcer voice,
Yeah.
like but more modern. What do they call it? Like Mediterranean or mid-Atlantic. That's like the old school radio voice.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but he has a very repetitive like cadence to his voice. So I think that's probably what helps a lot.
Yeah.
Is like he just talks in the same way a lot.
Yeah. So like as
Freaky.
over like the course of the 2000s, all these companies became super meta.
Yeah.
And by that, I just mean like they like make fun of themselves, like the Ryan Reynolds style of humor, the Rick and Morty style of humor where everything's like self-deprecating and ironic in a way.
Yes.
So as companies continue to do that, whenever somebody impersonates somebody else, especially when AI is involved, it's so much harder to tell whether or not this is some sort of like joke that the company or the brand or the person's doing, or if it's like genuinely like, I don't know, I wouldn't say nefarious, because they actually interviewed the guy that did it, and he was like just doing it as a goof. He was like an 18-year-old kid. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday somebody will rip off TRIFLIX 2 and make TRIFLIX 3.
Yeah.
That AI stuff is creepy.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about it like in the context of kind of what we do. I don't know if you guys watched any of the press stuff they did with like The Matrix when it came out. The stuff they did with Keanu.
Yeah. With they talked a lot about crypto and NFTs and all that stuff.
Yeah,
with it.
and they were talking about deepfakes.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of the stuff that Keanu's done with The Matrix where they use a digital double essentially, and he had to go through the whole thing where they scanned him and did the 3D work and stuff, and the dude was like had the wherewithal to like add it into his contract way early on in his career that like no one else could use his likeness. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I get that, because somebody asked him, the interviewer did, they're like, so what do you think, like eventually they're gonna be able to, your 3D model exists, like the model of your face and body like is out there, like they could use your likeness without you actually being there. Yeah. And he's like, nah, well you can't, because it's in my contract, right? Yeah. But it's just crazy to think about, especially you're like, okay, so you can use AI to replicate somebody's voice, and then you can also use AI to then deep fake somebody. And so now you can essentially recreate somebody on screen. Yeah. And I know we've kind of talked about this, and the whole like repercussions of it have been beaten to death, but it's also kind of like, could you imagine like TRIFLIX, we get this technology and then we literally can make a movie with like A-list actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We just download their models from what is it, makershop.org or whatever.
Dude, there's so many of the places you can get free models. And the weird thing is, it's going to get faster and faster. It's how technology works. But you can get a pretty accurate voice with just 15 minutes of audio. Like if you talk for 15 minutes and somebody pulls that video offline, and it's not just like a YouTuber. It's like if you post family videos on Facebook or something, anybody could rip that. Yeah. And
well, even when companies really try to do it, though, like Disney and Star Wars, like Grandma Tarkin. Yeah. And was it Luke? In The Mandalorian. It's like, you can tell, though. And they tried to make him look like Luke. It's like, how does that...
You can definitely tell.
Have you seen the latest Luke?
Yes.
The latest Luke.
So he has... I don't think he's seen it, because I think last time we talked about Boba Fett, the most recent season.
Is he in Boba Fett?
He is towards the end, yes.
Oh, that's exciting.
Disney did another version of the deep fake.
Is it better?
Oh, yeah. It is better. It's pretty intense. Now, it's pretty stiff. Yeah. That was my one complaint. Yeah. It's very stiff. Okay. And you can tell, you can just like, you can tell the shots were very specifically picked to make sure that he looked the best he could. Now, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It's insane. And you can't tell me that didn't take thousands of hours. Right. But like, it's still kind of sketch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've seen some of the breakdowns on it. One of the main things was with the lighting. Yeah. Lighting is like kind of difficult for deepfakes to work on.
For sure.
Yes. So when you see a really good one, they usually play to the strengths and the weaknesses of it, right? And one of the strengths is expressive facials, which is weird that they didn't lean more in. They could have made him a little more expressive and rotate the face, because once you have it locked in, it's pretty solid. Like once you have all the data sets and you've uploaded all the faces for it to work with. But in the TV show, whenever they show it, you'll never see like harsh lighting on him or split lighting where like half of his face is in shadow and half is in light, because it's hard for the cameras, or not the camera, the AI to pull data from the camera and get like accurate information on what should the face look like, because you're shifting noses and ears and eyebrows and all this, and it's like that's a lot for a computer to do, and you're throwing lighting in the mix. So
and
it's only been like 2 years since the last one.
I'm a little disappointed to hear that Luke is in the Boba Fett.
Don't be disappointed. You got to watch it first, and then you can be disappointed.
It just it solidifies the fact that Disney just can't be creative anymore. It's like, hey, it's not Star Wars is like these specific characters. Like I want them to be making more new stories. And like I was super excited when The Mandalorian came out, because like this is new and original. And then season 2, it was like, all right, we were too new. Now we have to fall back on all the old stuff. Like, and it's like, you were so close. You had something new, and then like you blew it.
I can't have this conversation with you any longer. Okay, you need to watch all the most recent
All
seasons.
right, I'll watch the Boba Fett.
Thank you, and then we'll
Boba Fett.
revisit. Okay,
Boba Fett.
Boba tea.
I think they brought a couple things around. So just I agree with you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and it should have just been 3 or 4 seasons of The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
it's kind of that anyway. So I'll be honest with you.
But it's.
And I thought the dude that played Boba Fett, it was so bad.
It's the original guy.
I know, but it was so bad.
It was really bad.
I just didn't think he did a great job as like, I don't know. It was very stiff.
Isn't he kind of chubby?
Boba,
Yes.
Boba or Django? Like I know it's
Boba Fett. Boba
Boba is played by the actor who played Django, I think. I don't remember now.
They're supposed to be clones, so
it's all the same.
One of them was the original. And
No, it's just, I don't know. He just seemed real stiff.
Yeah.
Even in the interviews, just as himself, you know, I was just like, I don't know, dude. Like I could have gotten a little bit more out of you for your performance.
Okay. Well,
watch it
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I'll have watched the series and we can.
Then we'll have a conversation about it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You haven't watched it either, have you?
Have you watched it?
I have not.
We should have we should do it.
Sleepover.
We'll sleep.
We can have a pillow fight.
Yeah, we'll get
Do
together.
facials.
We have pizza.
Both of us have house guests right now, so probably neither at our places.
We can do it.
David,
We
you're
can-
hosting.
We can do it at my place. It's not a house guest. It's my daughter.
temporary daughter.
just
I
temporary.
guess.
18 years.
Yeah.
It's 18. It'll go by real fast.
Yeah, real fast. It's okay if she's there
Start
longer
paying
than
rent
that.
soon, right?
Yeah, for sure. She's gonna get working real fast.
Absolutely.
Give her a camera.
Hey, don't think I'm not gonna be. This is fun. Play with the camera.
Just if you smile at a kid and say "good job," they'll be excited about it, man. She'll be all over the camera. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What's on?
We've got 2 more topics.
Yes.
Are you on it right now?
Am I on what?
Are you on the topic list?
Am I on? Yes, I am on the topic.
Okay, you
list.
pick the next one.
Oh boy.
One's mine and one is Tristan's. So
Oh, I know.
I know you know which one is
which.
Tristan.
So
Kanye.
either of these, I probably don't have much of an opinion on. So
You might. Let's have the discussion.
You're alphabetically first. So I'm going to guess you are the social media platform Truth.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Have you heard about this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Aren't you on it?
Dude, I'm blowing it up.
I'm on the
Yeah.
truth.
I'm
You-
just
You have a Truth account. You're on the wait list.
spitting lies on truth.
You're spitting lies on Truth.
I'm not even on the platform. I have
Yeah.
not launched the app. I'll be 100% with you.
Wait, you installed it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I've always been
I consider
saying?
that part of that. Sorry.
We need more social media.
Gosh, I know.
That's what I've.
And I get I get the
I can't take myself seriously.
why they
Yeah.
why they sorry, the reason they're peddling right now that they launched it. We all know why they launched it.
Because he got booted off all the other ones.
Yeah. Dude, could you imagine having the sort of like budget and team to be like, I'm not allowed on social media, so I'm going to make my own platform.
And then immediately get 200,000 people to like sign up. I don't know if it's actually at
They said
200.
that it
It was
topped
at
the
like
charts
150.
on Apple.
It was at last I saw it was like 130K.
I can't believe it got approved through Apple. All these things are blowing my mind. And I've heard horror stories about the things that get posted on there. Just that, like, you know, because of course there's going to be like people who go on there and genuinely use it, and there's also people that go on there and just do some.
What is it and why is it different?
So,
It's not. I mean,
well, what makes it different is
it's Twitter, first of all.
social media platform that's inherently political. And
What?
there's no way to get away from it. All the other social media platforms just were morphed into a political space. This one is specifically like retaliation
They just
against the
evolved
political.
quicker
Yes.
instead of like it's like it just like skipped 4 generations of how the program should have worked out. They're
It's like we know we're going to use this for. We're here you go.
yeah. They skipped the edgy teen phase and went straight to like midlife crisis mode.
They didn't even try to be MySpace. They're like, we know that's not going to work out very well. So
I'm about positive I read somewhere that like it's being moderated by like Fox.
Maybe.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure there was like a division of Fox that was moderating.
Well, the original platform, I don't know if it's the same one they're building it on now, but whenever that political candidate started his own platform, it was based off of an open source platform. for social media, and then the open source platform's like, hey,
Is it blockchain enabled?
is the blockchain enabled? It had to do with like crediting and how the platform is managed, and then basically the people that originally made it weren't very happy about it.
So wait, they just buy a failing social media
No,
platform?
it's open source. He just ripped it and
Well, I
then
mean,
called
open
it
source
his
things
own.
can fail.
That's
That
true.
happens all the time.
It's true.
I don't know. Well, I'm just saying it was initially just a borrowed and then rebranded and you throw a label on it. So I don't know if that's still the case, but that was initially how it started.
That's like my favorite thing, like Edge, the Edge browser, that like Microsoft was like, well, we can't sell or we can't put Explorer on the Microsoft computers anymore, but we're gonna use Chrome and then we're gonna just rebrand it as Edge.
Yeah.
Well,
I know it's open source as well.
yes. Well, okay. Chrome is based on open source project called Chromium.
Correct.
And that's why a lot of other browsers use it, because it is open source. But
Isn't that
Chrome,
Google?
the one specifically called Chrome, is the version of it made by Google.
Yeah. And open source just means that somebody made a thing and they're not going to sue you if you open it up and look inside and try to make it yours.
It's like filing a patent, but then saying everybody can use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's what cool kids do.
So is Google
If you got open source, you're cool.
is Google not the original creator of Chromium?
I think they created the open source project, or they were largely part of it, but like their own thing that they actually own of it is Chrome.
Right,
And that's how they
okay.
can own Chrome,
Gotcha.
but still have Chromium available. And I think Chromium's probably usually behind a few updates, because I think they put their changes into Chrome first.
Gotcha.
So
you guys gonna download the app?
which app are we talking about?
Truth. You gonna jump
No.
on Truth? You gonna get some truths going?
I don't.
Did you say? Is there a wait list?
Yeah, there's a wait list.
Oh gosh.
What part of
don't
we're all
like that.
tired and we've been working a
I
lot
know.
makes you think
Yeah.
that we want social media apps?
Well, I mean,
I clearly
I kind of don't have the choice, but
Well, you don't, but use this for work. Do you
I
think we
know.
could get the podcast on Truth?
I don't. Is that a thing? I guess
I don't want another.
We'll
place
put it
to
on there and
distribute.
LinkedIn, the two best platforms.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
If I ever do make an account, I'm just gonna post horrible, low effort memes.
Yeah.
Like not even make sense. Like I'll just make something in Paint and post it.
Yeah. Hey, let's do this for the buzzwords. Elden Ring is freaking sick, man.
Yeah.
Elden
Oh,
Ring
gosh.
is awesome. And if you click this video for that tag, well, guess what? We're finally talking about
Hashtag Elden Ring.
Shill.
For those who don't know what that is, it's a video game
For nerds.
for nerds.
It's a very important game, and it's not just because it's fun. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it wasn't fun, it wouldn't be important.
It's true.
It's made by a Japanese company called From Software. Don't know why it's called From Software.
It's
but that's-
ironic and funny.
I like it.
Sure.
It's from software.
Yeah. They're known for the there used to be a cult classic game called Dark Souls, and it's very punishing game series where like you.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's fun
it's
because
challenging.
everything
Punishing. You've been punished. Thanks for playing Dark Souls.
Yes, there's a lot of challenge to it. You can easily
When your kids are bad, you just make them
the
play Dark
original
Souls.
version of the game. Gosh,
He's not wrong.
oh my goodness.
I feel like that is something a lot of our friends probably would do.
I'm sorry. I know nothing about any of this, so
Yes.
I'm just here for stupid commentary.
Yeah. The very
Thanks,
first
Grandma.
game, the definitive edition, which is like they're done with it, they're done adding content to it afterwards. They didn't call it definitive edition. They called it Prepare to Die edition.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
the whole point of the game is that you learn by dying in the game over and over.
That's how you
And so
learn.
dying
That's how I
is
learn
not
in every
failure.
game.
That's how I learned in life.
You die an exorbitant amount of times because you are just trying to figure out how enemies work.
Sounds
and
like my
you are
Minecraft
expected to
experience.
die. The game wants you to suffer because that's kind of like that's the
Oh my gosh. This is what you guys do for fun?
I like to cheese the game. Cheese means you just kind of
Yes.
break it for your own amusement. So why is this game
That does
important?
not surprise
Here's the thing.
Yes, why is it important, Tristan?
This game
Tell us.
is made is from software indie. Do you consider them indie?
No, they're owned by Bandai Namco. So no.
Okay, so it's a big company, right? However, this big company has this division that is pretty successful in their own right, And they've made a lot of games that get 80% ratings, that's really good. 80% of people that play it like it, and it's a game that literally you die continuously. So it's like there must be something drawing about it. And over these 3 iterations of the game, plus 2 kind of subsets of it, Sekiro and Bloodborne. So they got 5 games in this iteration, and iterations they're getting bigger.
The game is as edgy as it sounds.
Oh yeah,
Gosh.
and so this
Next
game comes
version,
out. Why
Blood Fist.
it gets one of the most anticipated games of all time, and it's not just because a bunch of nerds wanted to play it. It ends up getting a 90. It is kind of. It ends up getting a 97% though. 97%.
That is pretty impressive, not gonna
And
lie.
it's not just from the users that have been like fanboying for years. It's like every single video game review brand, agency, group is giving it 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, almost all 10s, honestly, because it's a 97%. So it's like this game comes out and it's its own unique style of punishing game. Not many other companies are doing it. It's a medieval style game, which other than Skyrim, which is huge, not many other games come out in this genre. In all these companies, like, Blizzard, Activision, and all the companies that are just money shills are starting to turn their heads, and they're like, wait, maybe if a game isn't brain dead, it can actually be worth playing.
If you can't lose focus for like 5 seconds in the game. You have to be very intentional. But also, like, what makes this game so there's so much gravitation towards it is that the developers really care about improving upon every single game they make. They don't pump these games out like Call of Duty or like what's another one? I mean, Pokemon.
Yeah. Any game that comes out,
Pokemon's been cranking out games forever.
Forza. Just games that come out on an annual basis. I don't know if Forza does. I'm just
like
pulling.
Forza.
They don't release a yearly game, and there's a lot of passion. NFL, Madden,
all of the EA games that come out annually.
Star Wars.
That's movies and franchises.
Half of them work.
Yeah.
I stopped buying those games because you download it and it'd just be buggy as heck.
Yeah.
So the joke with it is that, like, a lot of people say that the game values the gamer's time. And then the argument is, well, you're just dying. How can that be valuing it? It's because if you aren't paying attention, you die. If you try and you put in effort, you live longer. So, like, the time that you put in is directly related to how far you go in the game. And it's not a grind like a lot of other games. If you throw enough time at it, you'll eventually get it. It's like it promotes it promotes like teamwork and trying to find community, and it's a very unique style.
Exploring and like learning new things. It encourages you to not do the same thing over and over. It's really hard to just press the same button over and over and win the game. Yeah, you have to understand just how the world works. You got to pay attention. It's I don't know. It's not a lot of games. It doesn't handhold you. It doesn't just like do this and win.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like sports where if you went into like a football game, soccer game, whatever, tennis, it's like if you did the same thing every time, eventually your opponent's going to learn what you're doing and then counter it. It's the same thing with like I think the draw for like Super Smash Bros, where it's like you're playing competitively against other people and you get really good and you learn something new, and then other people either get tired and stop playing with you, or they learn to counter it and get better. And then in turn, you learn something new and get better. And that's why I personally like the draw of the game. And I think that's what brings a lot of people to it.
The characters are creepy looking.
Yes.
Holy
it's
moly.
Lothric horror.
It's
inspired.
It's either a cute girl or a demon looking monster. That's your options.
Holy moly. There was like a building with 4 legs and a bell on its belly.
That's like a giant turtle thing, isn't it? It's a dog.
It's a mausoleum.
Everything with 4 legs in that game is referred to as a dog.
Yeah.
The community really makes the game fun because you can leave notes on the ground. So whatever you type on the ground, other people can come up and upvote or downvote, similar to social media in a way. And like sometimes people upvote things because they're funny, not because they're accurate. And it makes for a very communal game. Even though you could play it entirely solo, you still get that community aspect.
The original games of Dark Souls it was very hard to understand what was going on because a lot of the story was hidden behind like item descriptions, so you had to go in and read information about the items in the game. But a lot of the stories are very original, and they kind of focused on like the idea of obsession and maintaining power, which it's really introspective and makes you kind of think about it. It's really makes you think.
Yeah.
And the same thing kind of happens in this game, but a big draw to it for people is it's written by a small little author who co-wrote this very
knockoff Tolkien.
Fat Tolkien.
Fat Tolkien.
Knockoff Tolkien. Written by George R.R. Martin.
R.R. Martin. It looks pretty.
Yes, it's a very
GameStop
pretty-
only gave it 3.7 out of 5.
Oh, what is
GameStop's going
now?
out of business.
I know. I was like, I just
Yeah.
loved it. Like the 2 ratings that Google put on there it was GameStop and Best Buy.
It's probably because it's sold on Steam and they don't like that. They're
Yeah.
like, we want you to buy the CD-ROM for your PC.
It's
They
on.
don't-
It's on Xbox.
They don't have any PlayStations to sell you it for. So it's like, I wasn't that great of a game.
I mean, so it's one of the fastest selling games of all time. It's
Yeah.
like up there. It's one of the most highly rated, one of the best releases for a game. The community is toxic in some ways, but hilarious in others. So it's
What's
like
new?
And I think the biggest thing still to me is just the fact that a company can come in, do their own thing, and don't fall into the peer pressure of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
They get an audience, and then it gets acclamation.
Yes.
And the problem is now that they're running into is the acclamation goes out, and then everybody that likes to stream things, like that culture of like, oh, this is trending, I'm going to jump on it. Those people aren't familiar with the dynamics of these games. And now I think in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see their rating drop. And it's because people are playing it not because they wanted to play it or it looked cool to them, but because that's what's popular.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of the nature of how information, movies, video games, whatever the streaming service show is of the day, like that's just the way ratings are going to move forward as trends continue to jump so rapidly.
So you might see when it first released, actually the user reviews on the popular PC game store Steam were very low. They were mixed reviews because it had a lot of performance issues running.
Yeah.
And that was, it wasn't expected, but it's like there's a lot of, everybody's computer is different, and it's kind of hard to weed out all the weird stuff.
Discrepancies.
Anything's probably better than Cyberpunk.
Well, Cyberpunk is like the antithesis of this game, I think. It ran well on consoles and everything. It was just PCs that's having issues with this one.
Yeah, I saw it was on Xbox. I was like, look at that. If I wanted to play it, I could.
I recommend it. You can play with us, probably.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's my style. Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
It's not
And that's
Dungeons and
okay because
It's like,
Well, I mean, I saw the word dungeon and I saw dragon.
Yeah.
So I'm just naming things that I saw. There was
did
also
you like Skyrim?
There was also this. No, there was also this
Don't
thing.
like Skyrim.
Hot take.
That's we need an
Hot
explanation
take.
on
Clip
this. I
that,
think.
Daniel. Clip that. Make it a
Dan,
meme.
clip that, Jeremy.
Rip it.
Look,
Daniel, make it look bad.
Yeah.
I played it. Like I used to have
Played
gaming
Skyrim.
PCs and stuff, you know, before my life was consumed with work.
You're not that busy.
When I had a life.
When I had a life. No, I played Skyrim for a while and thought it was kind of cool, but like I find that most of those I don't know, night wizard crap games they're like I just can't, like, it gets grindy and like it's just like you have to, I don't know, it's just, when I play these games, like, to be honest with you, like my favorite type of games are the ones that give you a storyline and that are very cinematic. So like the Uncharted series, those were some of my favorites. And I've played all the what are the big ones? Lara Croft, what is that?
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Loved those.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
It's an adventure game, kind of. I mean, that's both of those genres right there.
yeah. It's something that I can play through. I can probably beat it in like a couple weekends, but it's like I'm playing a movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like as the cutscene is happening, you know, you can hit buttons and like you're jumping from like one wing of the plane to the other as it falls off, and just like all these things are happening, and I don't have to like build my life level throughout. You know, I'm like, oh, I want to get to level 50 because then when I get to level 50, I can craft this, and like I start to lose interest at that point because a lot of times like you die and you lose everything, or I don't know, it's just like that grind of like building up, and you know, I will be honest, like I enjoyed. What was the game we played for a while there?
Valheim.
Valheim. Like Valheim was fun, but you know why I thought it was fun?
Building.
Yeah. And like a lot of times I'll
I
just
like that a lot.
I used to just pull up Sims and just build houses because it was like a cool way to like do something creative.
We should go back to Valheim for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
when you get a computer that can play.
Yeah, I just can't play. So
Yeah.
I wish it was on console. And the reason I play console is just easy. It's like I can I can download a game and I can play because I just don't have time to mess with like
All the settings to make sure it runs well.
and don't get me wrong, I mean I am fully on board. Like PC gaming, there's nothing better. And keyboard and mouse, nothing better. I will 100% there. Love it. Have always loved it. But it's just so much easier for me to just like be able to I want to go on and shut off my brain and just like enjoy a little bit of time and
it's
have
a real thing.
no stakes.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like we've been putting in some crazy hours, and it's like, oh, I finally get time to play a video game.
Yeah.
I spent 2 hours troubleshooting the Elden Ring because my graphics card is older.
Yeah.
I would love to buy a new one at MSRP.
Can't
I
find
would
one.
love to buy it. I would love to update my computer, but the problem is nothing's available thanks to, tech shortages in general. Most of the platinum in the world comes from Russia. Majority of the platinum, so that's kind of a bummer. Majority of there's a mineral that comes from Ukraine. I don't remember what that mineral is that we use for. I think it's for silicon.
Yeah, there's a couple things like the world's 90% supply of neon is also
Neon, that's what it is.
Also from that's important with the manufacturing of
Silicon.
Yep. I don't know how it's used. I think it's with lasers. Something really cool.
Laser.
So, while geopolitical sucks and all, but we've also had two. People's lives are worth more than graphics cards for one.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
However,
Yeah, we're definitely not saying that.
And people's lives are worth.
sucks. I can't get my graphics card.
However, we've
Podin.
run a trend in the last 3 years of supply chains shortages are kind of a big deal thanks to the C word that the big old
the Rona.
the Rona.
I was like, what?
The C word. and then also World War III. So we're and for that reason, I spent 2 hours trying to get a video game to work, and I can't even buy a console to do the whole.
I was gonna
turn
say,
it on and play it because those are gone too.
Yeah.
So
I was watching a review of
I should sell my Xbox.
you make so much money.
That's what I'm thinking.
You should. You make a lot of money.
I got a 360. I guarantee I'd make $600 on that. Just boop.
Dang. Yeah, I have a 1X, so.
Yeah. I saw a review of one of the new games that came out. It was by Donkey on YouTube. And he said the world was gifted 10 PS5s. And
my
I got
gosh.
one of them. It's like none of those things have existed forever. It's like I have never seen one in person. I just don't know. Yeah.
I
haven't seen a
either.
PS5 or
seen
an
both.
Xbox One plus X10. I don't know what it's called.
Series
Series.
X.
Yeah.
I've seen both because I go in a lot of people's houses on a weekly basis.
So you know the rich people.
No, actually, you'd be surprised.
Oh, you're talking about going for photo shoots?
Yes.
Oh, wow. They're showing off their bougie PlayStation 5.
There was I'll be honest with you. I prefer the form factor of the Xbox. I know it's just like a cube,
better.
an elongated
I like it.
cube, but like the sizing of it, a PS5 is
It's a lot smaller,
freaking
isn't it?
huge.
Yeah.
Like the first one I saw was like,
That's an art piece.
whoa.
Yeah.
Like it has to sit out because you can't fit that in an entertainment center. And the Xbox, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I dig that. Like it's a good size.
The classic. It
it's
looks
called
like
an
a VCR.
Xbox.
Yeah, it was a box.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it should be designed as one.
It was literally named by engineers. So it was like the most uncreative thing.
I like it.
Because the reason why it's called
What
that
are you saying?
is the technology that's used to make things 3D on the screen. It's called DirectX.
Yes.
And they put it in a box, and they called it the DirectX box. And they're like, yeah, that's too long. They just cut off the Direct.
And Bill Gates was like, yes.
I like it. I'm going to go make a charity now. Bye.
Oh man, where are we at on time?
I lost track. I
lost track, too.
I want to go
I think it's time to wrap up.
Let's wrap up.
I want to go to
wrap
bed.
Yeah, I'm
All
tired.
right. Well,
I'm tired running
Tell
a
us-
company.
tell us about stuff. I guess.
Thanks for watching, Cole. What's
Yeah.
the stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell us the
yeah,
stuff,
first off,
man.
yeah, no, I like that. Thank you to all the people who have been watching. Especially thank you to the people who have actually
Commented,
watching and
Bugle
listening.
Boy.
Yes. But thank you for sticking around this long. Tell your friends though. That would be awesome. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast or
I think
leave us a comment on YouTube.
So many of them have review systems now. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, no, it would be awesome. It helps us a ton. You guys have no idea how much it
Review
helps
ball.
us.
Go listen everywhere.
It's so nice to
Yes.
have review systems, which may be used.
But
Yeah.
if this is your first time listening, you can also watch us.
Yeah.
You can find us on YouTube.
You know-
And if you want to see like the other things that we're doing, go to TRIFLIX LLC Instagram or on Facebook. We also post a bunch of cool clips and things to our TRIFLIX Cast Instagram page. So check out all of those profiles. Maybe you've heard this and you think, wow, those guys are awesome at running companies and making those things.
Videos, websites.
Wow, I can't believe I can't
photos,
get it out.
Media
And the graphics.
graphics department got cut.
Fired
It's
that
gone.
guy.
It's gone. It's
All right.
absolutely gone. We're awesome. Hire us.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Also, there's another place you can review. Go to Google. Just write a review. Just give us 5 stars.
That'd be awesome.
We won't pay you anything. We're not going to give you anything in return if you do. We just want 5 stars.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
We'll love you forever.
Don't
Yeah.
forget.
No, I won't love you.
Have a good day.